Hey guys, it's Chris. From aliens to secret governments to weapons of the future and more, join me as I reveal bizarre facts and theories about Area 51. Number 6. It's a real place. Area 51 is a place shrouded in mystery and suspicion, and it has been that way for decades. But one of the reasons that these rumors have persisted is because it's a real place. And you might think, why does that matter if it's actually real? Well, think about all the other conspiracy theories that have happened over time. Conspiracies about aliens, underground cities, hidden religious objects, all of it. All of those have a key flaw. Physical proof that any of it actually exists. But for Area 51, we know it exists. It's in Nevada near Groom Lake. Just knowing that it's real and that it's there has sparked many of the theories and controversies that you'll see on this list. After all, knowing something is there is one thing, but knowing what's going on inside of it, well, that's another. What's really going on inside Area 51? Is it what we think? Or is it something else that would blow our minds? Or maybe it's just a boring old military base and everyone's been making a mountain out of a molehill. Oh, and if you're curious where the name Area 51 came from, it's from a Nevada testing site map. Nowadays, the official title for the area is Air Force Flight Test Center Detachment 3. That's not as catchy, so it's no wonder people still say Area 51. Number 5. It's a Patsy. As we get into the more interesting facts and theories about what Area 51 is and isn't, it's important for me to explain one theory that is actually more credible than most give credit for, mainly that Area 51 is a patsy. For those not familiar with the term, a patsy is a person or thing that is used to take the fall for something or someone else. In layman's terms, Area 51 is a decoy for another base that the military could be hiding. It may not make sense at first, but think about this on a global scale, okay? First off, we know Area 51 is real. Second, it was a legitimate military base for a long time. It would test aircraft, helped make the U-2, and more. So they had nothing to hide, well, nothing too substantial, more or less. Yet when Roswell took that down, the military suddenly had all eyes on Area 51. Well, it's fair to say that the military has had attention like this before. This was different. This wasn't going away. In fact, the more alien sightings that came, the more scrutiny Area 51 came under. People wanted to know what was in there. So what's the military to do? Would they really still work out of a base that everyone not only knows about, but suspects something big is happening in? Well, no, they would go somewhere else, but they would maintain the illusion of Area 51 to keep people fixed on that. That way, they can go about their business elsewhere while playing shadow games with others who are desperate to find out the truth. Elaborate? Sure, but this is the military and government we're talking about. We know they'll go to great lengths to get stuff done, so pulling a bait and switch? It's definitely in their wheelhouse. Number 4. Home to the moon landing. Area 51 has had many theories about what's going on in it come out over the years, but one that has gotten some surprising traction is that the base, which remember is real, is actually the hosting site for the moon landing. I'll say what? Let's rewind for a second. In 1969, the United States captured the hearts, minds, and imaginations of the entire world when they sent 2 men to the moon. However, not everyone believes that to be true. In fact, over 20% of Americans think that the moon landing was a hoax. A conspiracy made by the government to fool the world, but mainly the USSR, into thinking that they had won the space race. However, as probable as that theory was, and it is probable from an objective point of view, there was always one key flaw in the logic. They needed a place to film it. And while you might be thinking, well, they can just rent out a building, it's not that simple. They would need to make sure that the building was secure, that there were no bystanders to peek in at what was really going on. They would need to be free from outside noise, stimuli, and more. They would need a secret base. Can we think of any? Exactly, Area 51. And it does make sense. Because of its location in the middle of the Nevada desert lands, you wouldn't have to worry about city noise, wandering people, or really anything else. And since it's a base, it likely has multiple rooms that don't have windows, so you can control the lighting setup. Because it's a military base, you could also use transport trucks to bring in the equipment needed to fake the moon landing. It all adds up from a certain point of view. Fun fact, Area 51 does actually have a connection to the real moon landing. Mainly, the areas next to Area 51 were used to test some of the moon landing equipment. The rovers and life support systems were tested at nuclear grounds that are next to Area 51. Well, that's weird, huh? Number 3. Secret weapons testing. Another popular theory that does have some slight basis in reality is that Area 51 is home to the military's secret weapons tests. And why does this theory make sense in some way? Well, as in most things, it's all about location, location, location. First off, we do know that Area 51 was used to test weapons of a sort. By that I mean the various aircraft that had flown through the skies and lands around Area 51 during their development. Aircraft like the A-12, the D-21 tag board, and so much more. In fact, one plane was so good in its range that the government had to get more land attributed to Area 51 so that it could be tested further. But naturally, people feel that Area 51 is being used for more sci-fi-like weapons. I'm talking high-powered lasers, vertical takeoff vehicles, new kinds of bombs, and so much more. Again, on a simplistic level, it kind of makes sense. To test such a weapon without injuries to crew or bystanders would require a lot of space, and Area 51 definitely has that. Although some people have gotten pretty extreme in their guess of what weapons are being tested there, such as weather manipulation. Yes, the military has done tests on weather manipulation in the past, but are they still doing it at Area 51? I guess you never know. Number 2. The government and military have secret underground bases there. Going into one of the more logical theories, many have speculated that Area 51 doesn't contain exotic items or beings, but rather it's a secret base of sorts for either the military or the government. And why would they need such a base? Well, it's the government and the military. They always need another new base or two, but for Area 51, the theories go deeper than that. Way deeper. For example, one popular theory is that Area 51 has many underground levels, which objectively I guess would make sense if there was certain kinds of testing going on in there. Example, you would want many levels of room so you wouldn't have to expose something to the outside world, which is another reason why Area 51 is so studied, because there's not a lot of photography on it because of government interference. So anyways, what is the government or military doing with these extra levels of space? Well, it depends on the theory you're listening to. Some feel that the government that's above ground isn't the real government, and the real government makes decisions and contacts other world leaders via the Area 51 bunker. Given who's president right now in the United States, I bet a lot of people find that option rather appealing. As for the military, they apparently are drilling deeper and deeper into the earth to create a very complex and intricate base for themselves. Well, why? Some theorists believe that should the worst happen and nuclear war comes to the world, that the military will bring key members of itself to the base, and due to how deep the base would have gotten by then, they could simply hide out there without fear of being hit. This theory isn't too far out of reach. As you know, there really are places like this in the world. And that's just how governments have to think. And with enough planning, it could be a viable option to survive a nuclear war. You ever play Fallout? Yeah, those vaults are what they're basically making. Given the resources of both sides, either theory is plausible, objectively of course, and it would line up with why either side is fighting so hard to keep the bases secret. Number 1. Aliens. This is the big one, the holy grail of Area 51 theories, and the thing that keeps many people up at night. Area 51 is home of aliens. Well, home of aliens could be a bit of a stretch, more like holding area of aliens. Let's backtrack a bit, shall we? This all truly started during the Roswell incident, when a farmer found wreckage of a craft that he didn't recognize. After doing the right thing and calling it in, the government arrived, took the wrecked craft, and then released a report about it. Funnily enough, that was where the problem started, so the report didn't have a lot of logic to it, and people noticed. So then people started to wonder if it was an alien spacecraft. A few weeks before Roswell, a pilot in Washington claimed to have seen alien craft during a patrol flight. With this incident, it just magnified the belief in aliens. After that, apparently, government types arrived in Roswell and tried to dissuade people from talking about it. These became the infamous Men in Black. Not wanting to be silenced, the people got louder. And then word got around that pieces of the wreckage were taken to Area 51, and the rest, as they say, is history. Ever since that time, Area 51 has been surrounded with various alien theories. From the simple ones, like the base actually has the bodies of aliens, to the more compound ones of they actually hold alien craft and are using their technology to better our own. This latter one has a ping of truth of sorts, as the site of Area 51 has been used for many futuristic aircraft tests. You'd think it would stop there, but no, it got even weirder from there. For some people think that Area 51 is actually a base of contact in which our government actually communicates with the stars above and talks with the aliens who have crash-landed on Earth so far. And on and on and on they go. Will it ever stop? I highly doubt it. Some thoughts and feelings are too good to let go, and Area 51 definitely qualifies. Thanks for watching. What do you think is going on in Area 51? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time.